and welcome back to PBQ. My name is Harmony. I am here on behalf of the viewers to ask Apostle Desmond Thomas a few questions that the viewers have sent in. So today I would like to ask you, what is the difference between the different church denominations, and is there any evidence within the Bible to back it, to say that this is correct and this is right?
Well, there are a lot of church denominations these days. I mean, to name a few, you have the Church of England, you have the Methodist Church, you have Baptist churches, you have Pentecostal churches, charismatic churches, faith movement churches. I mean, there's so many. We have one church, all right? And these denominations were formed, some of them, you know, after the church sort of like went lukewarm or went cold, and somebody will come and bring a revival. And even though some of them had no intention, you know, of starting a new denomination, somehow people follow them and then a denomination is born. All right. Now, there's nothing biblical or scriptural about denomination. I mean, denomination is man-made. All right, so God did not ask us or tell us to denominate. I mean, but some group of people will not get along with another group of people, and then they go and form their own group, and so that group later becomes a denomination. You know, but when the church started with people meeting from house to house, and you know, I mean, what they will just call them, the church that is in Ephesus or in Athens or in this or in that, and then it was later we started putting names to them and forming denominations.
Okay, from what I get from the Old Testament is that a lot of the time people are moving outside into the world and mingling with certain people and different religions and whatnot. And what essentially keeps happening is that they really do want to be closer to God, but the problem is there's so many things conflicting them, worldly things that conflict with them, which means that they start, I think in the Old Testament I read somewhere where they would start worshipping like the Egyptian gods. And I think those were the Hebrews after Moses brought them out of Egypt. People now, it was hard for them to now start believing in God completely. So I find that is an issue, because you also find that people look at the 12 disciples and think, oh, do you know what? Maybe they all didn't have the same perspective of God that Jesus held, for example. So now you get a conflicting argument between the spirituality and the worldly sense. And I think, can you justify a worldly view when talking about someone's opinion towards something? Now you're in the world and you have your own perspective of who God is. Like me personally, I don't really go to church as much as I should, but I know who God is for myself. Nobody else can say that. I can go to church to learn more about him and to give back to my community as well, but I know who God is for me. Now you can't go into the world and say, do you know what, for me, I feel like you can't go into the world and say, do you know what, God is the same to everyone, because he's not, because we all have our own opinions. So what is there any evidence in the Bible backing this?
From what you've said, what I gather is you're trying to say that different perspectives, different life experiences, you know, and when people get in contact with the world, different opinions from the world could have influenced, you know, their Christian belief that would have caused these different denominations.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, of course. I mean, with the disciples, you know, they all spoke the same thing, you know. In fact, that's why we have the scriptures. You know, so they spoke the same. But yes, this could be reasons why there are, you know, denominational differences. Okay. Take for example a point of emphasis, like the Pentecostals. Oh, they're more about the gifts of the Spirit, you know, and they emphasize more of that, you know. Whereas with the Baptists, they will say, oh, we don't believe that those things are for these our days, speaking in tongues, you know, raising the dead, cast out demons, and all of those kind of stuff. So that brings a difference between Baptist and Pentecostals. Some of them also is like the doctrine of God. Some will believe in a Trinity, a Trinitarian God, and others will believe in a Unitarian God. I mean, you have United Pentecostal churches and you have Pentecostal churches. You see, and so also some of them also in the area of baptism. Some will believe will believe in dipping, and the other will believe in sprinkling. So you see some of these things as well. And like take for example, I mean, some churches as well, the way they are governed, like the Anglican churches, the majority carries the vote. So if it's about gay issues and all of these, they will have to vote on them, and the majority carries the vote. Whereas with others, they believe in bam, what scripture says, and that's it for them. So all of these things, of course, is what cause the differences in our doctrinal issues, and sometimes when you talk about experience as well, can cause denominations.
So is there anything in the Bible that says that there has to be there is room to have different denominations?
Well, there's nothing in the scripture that says that. Many times it's our interpretation of the scriptures that cause us to be different from each other.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to join us on the show, please send us an email with the subject title and your details so that we may contact you. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time.